Welcome to Data with Srinivas. Before we jump into syntax, let us talk about a problem that comes up all the time in real reporting. Someone from business does not ask, what is the total paid amount for this member? That's easy. The order of the claims does not really matter for a final total. But then they ask a different question. As of each claim date, how much had this member accumulated so far? Now order matters. If January 5th came before January 18th and January 18th came before February 2nd, SQL needs to respect that timeline. Otherwise, the running total may be attached to the wrong point in the story. That's why order by inside over matters. Partition by answers which rows belong together. Order by inside over answers inside that group what is the logical sequence of the calculation. And this is different from the final order by at the bottom of the query. The final order by is like arranging a finished report for the viewer. It changes what we see first on the screen, but does not change how the window value was calculated. So the simple sentence for this lesson is, window order by defines the calculation sequence, final order by displays the completed result. We'll keep this focused. We are not teaching row number, ranking, lag, lead, or window frames today. We are just making sure this one idea is crystal clear. Let us make the idea visual first, then we will go into the SQL Server Management Studio. Let us slow this down with one member and 3 claims. If I only want the member total, order is not very interesting. 125 plus 200 plus 175 is 500, no matter which row I look at first. But running total asks different question. It asks how much had accumulated by this row. That phrase, by this row, is the key. It means SQL needs a timeline. On the left, the calculation follows the claim dates, January 5th, January 18th, and February 2nd. So the running total goes from 125 to 325 to 500. Now look at the right side. I may want to display the newest claim first because that is convenient for the report. That's fine. But the running total value should not be recalculated just because I changed the screen display. The February 2nd row still represents the point where the member has accumulated 500. January 18th row shows still represent the point where the number had accumulated 325. That is the real difference. Final order by changes where rows appear. Window order by changes what sequence dependent calculations mean. This is why this lesson matters for later topics. Latest record, previous row, next row, ranking, and moving averages all depend on defined sequence. For now, we'll use running total as the simple example because it makes the difference visible. Let us start with data before we touch the window function. Imagine somebody from the business says, for each member, I want to understand how paid claims build up over time. Before calculating anything, I want to see the claims in human-friendly order. Member first, then service date, then claim ID. I will run this query, nothing fancy yet. These are just detailed rows, but now we can actually see the timeline we are about to analyze. Now let us ask a similar question. What is the total paid amount for each member? For this question, I honestly do not care which claim happened first. If a member has claims for $100, $200, and $50, the total is $350, no matter what order those rows appear in. So here I only need partition by member ID. Let us run it. Notice that same member total repeats beside every claim now. This gives us an important baseline. Some window calculations need a group, but they do not need a sequence. Now I am going to change just one sentence in the business request. Instead of asking for the full member total, I'm asking how much had been paid up to each claim date. The words up to each claim date change everything. Now there has to be first claim, a second claim, a third claim, and so on and so forth. That's why order by goes inside over. I'm using service date for business timeline and claim ID as a tiebreaker. Let us run it. Watch the running paid total column grows as we move through the members' claims. That row by row meaning exists because we defined a logical sequence. This is where people get tripped up because we now have two order by clauses in the same query. The order by inside over belongs to the calculation. The order by at the bottom belongs to the screen. I'm leaving the window order by exactly the same, but I'm reversing the final display order. Let us run it. Now the newest claims appear first on the screen, but look at the running total values. They were not recalculated backward. The calculated values stays attached to the claim it belongs to. So final order by can rearrange what I see. It does not rewrite the window calculation. Now let us make the distinction even clearer. In the first calculation, I go oldest to newest. That answers how much accumulated as time move forward. In the second calculation, I go newest to oldest. That answers a different question, starting from the latest claim and moving backward. How much accumulates? Same rows, same amounts, the different sequence, different row level meaning. Let us run both side by side. The final total may eventually be the same, but the values attached to the individual rows are different. That's why calculation sequence matters. You may be wondering why I keep adding claim ID after service date. In real claims data, two claims can absolutely have the same service date. If the service date is tight, I still want a clear rule for which row comes first. Service date gives me the business timeline. Claim ID gives me the second rule when the dates tie. That makes the sequence more stable and easier to explain. This becomes even more important when we go into row number and other sequence-based functions. Let us make sure this is not just something we watched. New request. For each provider, show the claim rows and cumulative paid amount as those claims occur over time. Before I show the answer, think about three things. What column defines the group? What columns define the calculation sequence? And how do we want the completed rows displayed? Pause the video here and try it. Here is the solution. Provider ID goes in partition by because each provider gets a separate calculation group. Service date and claim ID go into window order by because that defines the sequence inside each provider group. The final order by simply makes the result easy for us to read. Let us run it. Watch the running total reset when provider ID changes. Same pattern, different business entity. That is the point. Once the mental model is clear, the SQL becomes reusable. Let us wrap up this in plain language. First, not every window calculation needs order. If I ask for the total paid amount for a member, SQL can add claims in any order and total is still the same. Second, some calculations are sequence dependent. Running totals, latest records, previous row comparisons, next row comparisons, and rankings all need SQL to understand which row comes first. Third, partition by and order by answer different questions. Partition by says which rows belong together. Order by inside over says within those rows what is the logical sequence for the calculation. Fourth, the final order by is not the same thing. Final order by is for presentation. It controls how the completed result appear on the screen. Fifth, when dates are tied, we should give SQL a stable tiebreaker such as claim ID. That makes the result easier to explain and easier to trust. The sentence to remember is window order by defines the calculation sequence, final order by displays the completed result. In video 5, this becomes very practical. We'll use row number to answer common real-world questions. How do I return the latest record per group? Thank you for watching Data with Srinivas. Keep practicing, keep querying, and I will see you in video 5.